Well, hello everyone. This is Wilson Cole, president of Adams, Evans and Ross in Backdoor Hiring Solutions, and I am with our general counsel and staff attorney, my lovely daughter Samantha Cole. How are you doing?
Doing good. How are you doing?
Doing fine. You are still lovely. I can see though that you were in the middle of moving. I can see the empty shelves and the hair that just isn't quite there, but it's all good.
I'm holding it together. You also can't see the piles of boxes in the other room.
Samantha has bought a house down in a section of Atlanta called Buckhead, and everybody, in our generation, we all ran out to the suburbs. Our children are running back to the trendy parts of the city. So she's been able to join us on this particular meeting because we've had some clients that I don't typically get shocked, but I'm shocked at the audacity of the debtors, and I was impressed with the clients knew not to sign something before they sent it over. But we're seeing some insanely predatory behaviors from some high-end debtors, the ones that have the ability to go out and hire the attorneys that spend $400 and $500, $600 an hour, and they're creating some stuff that I'm glad our clients aren't signing, and we're able to talk them off of it. Samantha, kind of give us an overview and what they were wanting the clients to sign.
Well, I've seen anything, because we're also needing to discuss, we're seeing predatory contracts that they're asking our clients to sign. We've had some clients sign things, and I can go into that too. But we're also running into when they haven't been paying the bills, they'll send over, you'll send your invoice over, and then you'll get this email back. Yeah, so-and-so in accounts payable wants to talk to you, but first sign this. And clients haven't signed it, and they send it over to me. And in layman's terms, it basically not only is a confidentiality agreement, which I can understand to a degree, a confidentiality agreement. It is such a strong confidentiality agreement that you would have to argue your right to even go hire an attorney to discuss it with an attorney.
Okay. And you give up just about your right to go after the debt, if I understood some of that as well, because you would be breaking the confidentiality clauses up.
To discuss it with anyone else.
Yeah. And that's one thing, on these, and it was from a debt negotiator, which, I've dealt with debt negotiators for almost 30 years. And they serve a purpose. There's been times where there's been clients of ours that, especially in downturns, that get into trouble, and we help, almost collections in reverse. We help reduce their exposure and their liability by helping reduce the debt that they owe or extend out the terms. So it serves a purpose, but this is a new twist because it's a higher end, higher thought process than we typically see. But these contracts are not just a non-disclosure. These contracts, in my opinion, are designed to in essence give them a layer that they no longer owe the bill if the whole group doesn't agree to pay.
Well, and then beyond that, it's not only do they not owe the bill, you now have to start paying them if you try to attempt to collect on the bill.
Because you have to fight the non-disclosure.
No, or beyond that, you've now broken a contract and they can claim damages.
Okay. So only attorneys can come up with this crap, Sam. Only attorneys.
Sorry.
It's one of those things to where, if you ever have a company, and this is the only thing I think you can do, is if they ever want you to send over, if they're behind with you, or even if they're not behind with you, but they say, hey, we've hired somebody, or, somebody's going to be handling, our receivables, we need you to sign something. Whether you call us, we can't give you legal advice, but we can look at it and say, yeah, it's going to cause you problems. It's not going to cause you problems from a collection standpoint. But if they want you to sign something, get an attorney involved or give us a call and we'll glance at it, or we can make a direct connection in your state, because I can tell you that almost needs to be a warning sign that you're about to get hosed.
Yes.
It's almost like your spouse says, "Hey, later on, I want to talk to you about something." That is never a good sign. That is never a good sign.
Or, they decide that they want to post nup, 6 months in after you get married.
Okay, well, that's yeah, that would be after 30 years of marriage. I guess I should be upset with your mom if she says, "Hey, I want a prenup." I was like, "Oh darn." But anyway, Sam, any closing comments? But I mean, the biggest thing I can say before Sam takes over is if somebody wants you to sign something out of the ordinary, don't sign it. Have a professional look at it.
And I think this ties into on after you've started a relationship with them, or even in the master service agreement style. I'm starting to see a trend in some of the most predatory master service agreements for recruiters and staffing agencies that I've ever seen.
I agree.
Of some of the things they're trying to sneak in. I think my new favorite is I have recently seen one where a fee is, you have a signed master service agreement, but without a separate fee agreement for each position you're recruiting on, they do not owe a fee.
And well, there again, if it's job specific, technically they could take that candidate, modify that title a little bit.
The overall agreement is not job specific, but then they have this whole thing below it where you have to do a new fee agreement each time there's a new position to fill.
Yeah. And it basically said something, and I'm kind of paraphrasing because I remember the one you were talking about, was if a hiring manager calls out to you, you have to refer them back.
That was a different one, but yes.
A different one. And so basically what they've got you policing their policies. So if their people are not policing their own policies, they've got the recruiter policing it to where if the hiring manager calls out, then you have to direct their employee back to their other employee for all the communication to come through there for the fee to be owed. So it's kind of crazy. It's crazy times. But I think that as the market, as we speak right now, with unemployment being as low as it is, everybody's having to use recruiters at a broader scale, and I think they're trying to cut costs wherever they can, and they're trying to find loopholes out of paying these fees, actively trying to find loopholes. So the key is watch what you sign, and if it's more than a paragraph or so, or if you don't understand it, you probably want to have a professional look at it.
This isn't the terms and conditions of, your latest Netflix update where you click I accept and move on. This one you actually do need to read.
I want you to use Wilson's raw fish approach. I was out, I don't do sushi. I mean, I'll do shrimp nigiri, but that's cooked shrimp over rice. Your sister will eat raw fish all day long. But I just never have cared for raw fish. I was from the coast. I can eat fish a gazillion different ways, just don't eat raw fish. I was in a Chilean restaurant in San Francisco back about 5 years ago. And it was trendy. It was a super nice restaurant. And I'm reading the menu, and I see where they have, mahi or some type of fish. And it was kind of like in a peanut butter sauce over noodles. And I'm thinking, that sounds pretty good. But there was a word before they said the fish, the name of the fish. And I didn't understand what that word was, but I didn't want to seem unsophisticated. So I didn't say anything. And that word was Chilean for raw fish. And so use Wilson's raw fish. To this day, if I am not sure of a word, I will do one of two things. I'll Google it on my phone, or I will ask the waiter or waitress. I'll say, okay, what is this word and what does that mean on the menu? Because there was just no way. I paid for, it's one of these insanely priced meals of raw fish and peanut butter sauce that I've ever had. It was my fault. But it wasn't cooked. So if you don't understand a word in a contract, have somebody look at it.
And that also goes along with Wilson's other rule of trendy restaurants as nothing weird.
Nothing weird. Nothing weird. Well, yes, I agree with you. Yeah, I agree with you. I'm not necessarily a meat and potatoes guy, but if it's bizarre, I don't want to be judged by the staff. And if I get sparkling water, if I get tap water, I mean it. Sometimes I just want tap water. But anyway. Well, we'll run on that note. Samantha, I do appreciate you meeting us and kind of covering, what to sign and what not to sign. And good luck with your move.
Thanks.
Sure. Bye-bye.
Bye.